Favorite YouTube dealer, I appreciate you guys for stopping in. We finally have a new epic rap battles of history. I'm excited. When ERB drops, it's pretty much an occasion anymore. They don't drop all that often, and they blessed us with Henry Ford versus Karl Marx, which I think is a really interesting battle because Henry Ford, I assume most people know, is behind Ford Motors, the Ford car, all that kind of stuff. And Karl Marx is behind Marxism, which, if I'm not mistaken, is like the basis of communism, which is pretty much the opposite of what Henry Ford would stand for because he owns a company. And Marxism and communism is pretty much like you wouldn't own companies or land or any of that kind of stuff. It'd be owned by the state and everybody would be classless and equal to an extent. And don't get me wrong, it might sound good on the surface, but it goes much deeper than that. And I also don't agree with much stuff being owned by the state because as we see, government and shit lies. So I'm not going to get too much into that. That's for other people to debate and all that kind of stuff. We're here for the battle. But this is going to be a fun one. I'm curious what they're going to say to each other. So let's dive in. Let's find out. My man said,
Mr. Motor City needs some medicine red. My lines are a production, your lines are bred. Disassembling timepieces is how I got my start now. Watch me tear your ideology apart. You scream unite the workers, free the class slaves. Lose your change, trade them in for mass graves. I would stop it. Wow, appalling mounts of body bag. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. I produce with my two hands, you're a destitute tramp. Scheming to trade bootstraps in for food stamps. Any person tries to seize my private property will catch a torn press to his private parts properly. Who takes advice from a broke slob? It's laughable. I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe with your DOS capital. If you'd saved a penny for each daughter you named Jenny, you might not have needed to bury quite so many. Who's that crowd?
Ooh, okay. All right, this is interesting. I forgot to say in the beginning, I'm going to listen to the entirety of the verse and then we'll go through and kind of talk about it. So I'm not ignoring the bars that he said. I just wanted to let him, get off and do his thing. And we're going to go back really quickly and talk about some of these things that stood out to me.
Mr. Motor City needs some medicine red. My lines are a production, your lines are bred. Disassembling timepieces is how I got my start now. Watch me tear your ideology apart. You scream unite the workers, free the class slaves. Lose your change, trade them in for mass graves.
Now that bar I thought was really, really dope. Free the class slaves, but trade them in for mass graves because like Karl Marx kind of pushed for a workers' revolution, which inevitably would lead to fighting. So my assumption is that he's talking about a lot of people are going to die if they go the way that he thinks is the way to go. And then in the beginning, he said the whole your lines are bred. I don't know if he was kind of talking like if we're classless and everybody's on the same page, then we're all going to be kind of going in to get food from the state, from the government, because they're going to be running everything. That would be my take on it. I don't know about the first bar, but I'm pretty sure about the second one.
I would stop it. Wow, appalling mounts of body bag. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag.
Now that's probably the best bar by far, in my opinion. So Stalin was a part of the Communist Party. I don't know much about Mao, so I'm gonna guess the same thing. He must have been a part of the Communist Party, but I'm assuming that they obviously were fans of Marx because of that. And the whole red flag thing, like communism, Marxism, if I'm not mistaken, again, is like the symbol for those. The red flag is the symbol. I can't get my words out for some reason, but that's a dope bar and a dope play on words. And I feel like that was really, really, it was a really good approach because he took a leader and I assume Mao maybe has a bad reputation as well, but I know Stalin does, and says if they're backing you, that's a red flag. Like that was just a really, really dope play on the situation, them being a part of it, what they're known for and how people look at them, and then playing into it with the whole that's a red flag with the double meaning, I think was really, really dope.
You scream unite the workers, free the class slaves. Lose your change, trade them in for mass graves. I would stop it. Wow, appalling mounts of body bag. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. I produce with my two hands, you're a destitute tramp. Scheming to trade bootstraps in for food stamps. Any person tries to seize my private property will catch a torn press to his private parts properly.
The way he's delivering on top of everything else is honestly adding so much to it. I love it. So I'm hoping that Karl Marx is going to come with a dope delivery and all that stuff as well, because that alone is drawing me in towards Henry Ford even more. But the whole trade in your bootstraps for food stamps thing is, again, a play on the whole line for bread, if I'm not mistaken, because, and I keep saying I'm not mistaken. I don't know why. Listen, it's one of those days. It's been a long day. I'm trying to get a reaction in. But yeah, the whole, like, if everybody is classless and equal, it's like, instead of, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, working really hard to earn everything that you want in life, you're going to be on the same level as everybody else because it's classless, right? So everyone's going to have food stamps. We're all going to be on the same page, so to speak.
I would stop it. Wow, appalling mounts of body bag. When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. I produce with my two hands. You're a destitute tramp, scheming to trade bootstraps in for food stamps. Any person tried to seize my private property will catch a toll grants to his private parts property. Who takes advice from a broke slob? It's laughable. I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe with your Das Capital.
That was another dope bar because he had the Das Capital, I think is what it was actually called, but he called it the Das Capital because he played on the whole I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe. You know, that was a really, really dope play. Obviously saying I won't wipe my ass with your book. Called the book the Das Capital, wouldn't wipe my tailpipe. He's obviously, you know, a part of Ford Motors. Tailpipe is a part of a car. Like the way that he played all that together was actually really, really interesting.
You'd saved a penny for his daughter you named Jenny. You might not have needed to bury quite so many.
Now, I don't know nothing about Karl Marx's daughters, so I don't know if he has a bunch of daughters named Jenny. I'm guessing so based on that bar, but just regardless, it's whenever you throw shots at people that passed and stuff like that, that's just wild. I mean, in this situation, it doesn't matter because these aren't the real people dissing each other. But, you know, when you watch like battle rap, like I have with URL TV, King of the Dot, stuff like that, and people take a shot at like a past family member or something, that shit's, it's not like I don't know. People look at it both ways. Like it could be a really, really dope bar or it could be a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to two people that I don't believe are still with us, I don't think that it's that big of a deal. So it is what it is, but that shit's wild that he just said that.
Who's that proud young Hegelian, heavy drinking card carrying, future thinking, legal letter, Inca proletarian? It's Karl Marx, a very rhinestone. I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf.
Ooh. Oh, I wasn't supposed to pause. I was going to wait till the end. Yo, that caught me off guard, though. I didn't know that Hitler mentioned Henry Ford in Mein Kampf. Someone's got to fill me in down below in the comments. Okay, let me let him cook and we'll come back.
My codes of didn't cause mass grave. Get that from books, but you didn't read shit. Your self-made man studies come from a tortoise. Your daddy's Duanes gave you a free father course. You were the first of 6 kids till the 7th killed your mother. Maybe that's why you spied at your workers like Big Brother. Your Model T, total lack of style is killing me. They can take shit from you according to ability. Do what your first car can't and back up. Beating is like your city in Brazil. Nuts!
Don't step that close.
Okay, this was an interesting verse. I don't feel like he came with as much heat as Henry Ford did. He did drop a line about somebody that passed away as well. He talked about his oldest brother killing their mother. See, I don't know their family life like that. Like I don't know enough about them, so I'm taking them for surface value that they're obviously speaking on some shit that actually happened, but I don't know much about it. Now, he started it off just talking about himself. The first couple of bars were just, who's that proud young Hegelian, da-da-da-da, it's Karl Marx. I don't agree with shit like that when it comes to battles. I feel like if you're battling somebody, every bar, every word should be directed at a diss towards that person. Don't big yourself up or talk about yourself because you're literally just wasting time.
Marx, a very rhinestone. I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf.
That I've got to learn more about because that is a dope bar if that's actually a fact.
My codes of didn't cause mass grave. Get that.
And I like this part here that my hold up.
I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf. My codes of didn't cause mass grave. Get that from books, but you didn't read shit.
Like he said that he didn't cause mass graves, greed did. So what I liked about that bar, at least to begin with, was the fact that he was actually flipping a bar that Henry Ford said, because he said the whole trade your chains in for mass graves. And then he came back and flipped it. So anybody that watches battle rap knows that rebuttals are huge. If somebody says a dope bar towards you and you could take that bar and then flip it and put it back against them, that's such a big play. I just don't feel like it kind of worked as well as it could have. Like it just ended it with, you could have read that in my book, but you don't read shit or something like that. And I'm like, it's just, it wasn't like a really dope bar to use as the rebuttal. It'd be one thing if this was actually freestyle and he just did it off the top of his head, but this is written, obviously. So I'm like, it didn't hit as hard as it could have.
My codes of didn't cause mass grave. Get that from books, but you didn't read shit. Your self-made man studies come from a tortoise. Your daddy's Duanes gave you a free father course. You were the first of 6 kids till the 7th killed your mother. Maybe that's why you spied on your workers like Big Brother.
That was a pretty dope bar. Spied on your workers like Big Brother, because there's a lot of stories of Henry Ford and the workers and just a lot of craziness and everything like that. So he's had a little bit of heat in this verse, a little bit, but I don't feel like there was much in there that compared with Henry Ford's first. So I'd give it to Henry Ford so far.
Your Model T, total lack of style is killing me. They can take shit from you according to ability. Do what your first car can't and back up. Beating is like your city in Brazil. Nuts!
Now, I don't know anything about his city in Brazil, but like your first car can't back up. Like he said some things. I'm not trying to skip over it. I just don't feel like it was still on the level of what Henry Ford said.
Don't step that close without some beer, shampoo, son. You lived in Cologne. Look like you could've used some. I drip a style like the dipstick drips oil. You look as sick as your chronic dick boil. I'm mass producing abuse on a utopian hobo. I'm throwing you for loops like the F in my logo. I gave man work, you brought nothing but harm. Take your bourgeois pig shit back to Animal Farm.
Okay, this is a little bit of a shorter verse. It wasn't the craziest. The Cologne bar was probably the best one.
Step that close without some beer shampoo, son. You lived in Cologne. Look like you could've used some. I drip with style like a dipstick drips oil. You look as sick as your chronic dick boy.
My favorite part about that was the... I mean, I'm assuming that the man actually had dick boils, which I salute to him, because that's got to be a tough life.
I'm mass producing abuse on a utopian hobo. I'm throwing you for loops like the F in my logo. I gave man work, you brought nothing but harm. Take your bourgeois pig shit back to Animal Farm.
Your factory conditions were bleak. Cramping machines, cranking out 4 severed fingers a week. You controlled what employees could think, drink, and eat. And when they marched for better wages, shot them dead in the street. In truth, what you
now, if all of that is true, because I don't know everything about these guys, but if people were dying because of the fact that he kind of controlled their life, and if they fought back against it, shit happened to them, then that's a dope little scheme right there. It wasn't like a double triple entendre. There was nothing really like complex about it, but I've always felt like personals hit way harder than punchlines if they're real. I just wish that he would have built it in a different way. Like, instead of just stating the facts, it's almost like he's having a conversation with us. Like, you did this, this, and this, and if they fought against it, you killed them. Like, that may be the truth, and you're putting it out there, but I feel like you got to spin it in some kind of a way, right? Like add some kind of a narrative behind it to make it hit a little bit harder. I keep pausing it in the middle of verses, by the way, instead of letting them go. I'm just, at this point, we're just going to go and do it however.
Think, drink, and eat. And when they marched for better wages, shot them dead in the street. In truth, what you produced were alienated working men who would clock into Detroit and lose themselves like Eminem. And now your Great Lakes state is exactly a great sight. You were west of Michigan and Flint's water pipe.
Okay, the Flint water pipeline was cool, but the Eminem Lose Yourself bar was actually kind of fire. I'm not going to lie. A little biased maybe because I'm a big Eminem fan, but I did enjoy that. That was probably the highlight bar of this round. Again, I like the personals. I just wish that there was a narrative brought with it.
You griped about oppression, don't leave me impressed. You're not hot, Carl. That's just shit on your chest. For a man to stay...
That might be the bar of the whole entire track. I'm pretty sure a hot Carl... Yo! I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Better yet, I hope I'm not, because that is an amazing bar. You're not hot Carl. That's just shit on your chest, he said, or something like that. I'm pretty sure a hot Carl is a term for like feces and sex. I don't know if that means necessarily shitting on someone's chest. It might mean that specifically, but I know that it has something to do with shit. Like, I don't know why I even know that. I feel weird that I even know that.
It's exactly a great sight. You were west of Michigan and Flint's water pipe.
You griped about oppression, don't leave me impressed. You're not hot, Carl. That's just shit on your chest. For a man to state less, you got an awful lot to say. I pay you $5 a day to go away. Bloody Angles bankrolled you with this textile bill. I guess the capitalists are cool when they're paying your bills.
See, now that's a good personal right there, because if that's a fact, I feel like it's tough, right? Because he didn't really add a whole big narrative to it necessarily, but I don't know, for some reason that hit harder to me than him saying like, you told the workers what to do, and if they fought against it, you killed them in the streets, basically. Because Marxism is against people owning corporations or like these big companies and stuff like that, and owning land, and all that stuff would go away because of a worker revolution, and then we'd be classless. And again, I'm just kind of scratching the surface. There's probably so much more to it, but that's just a little bit that I know. And so if he was taking money from somebody that owned a textile mill, it's almost like you're going against everything that you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting, but it's tough though, right? Like, how would you look at it, right? If you're taking money from something that you actually denounce, but you're using that money to denounce that very thing that you're getting money from, along with everything else that's like it, is that a loss, or is that, you know what I'm saying? Or is that just you playing some good game and hustling and getting someone to give you money when really you're going against everything that they stand for, right? So I don't know how you want to look at that, but it still seems like a pretty decent bar.
Bloody Angles bankrolled you with this textile bill. I guess the capitalists are cool when they're paying your bills. You're a hypocrite, a nitwit who's love with substance issues. Step off your soapbox, take the soap with you.
Look, dummy, shedding money is the communist vision. Engels' bank was the crank that got the revolution spinning. We gave everything to see the common people advance. I'm so down for the cause, I even pawned my own pants.
Okay. I don't know how the pawning his own pants thing. I don't know. Someone let me know. But yeah, okay, this was a good flip, because he says, look, dummy, See, this was where the rebuttal actually came in and did its thing.
Brand nitwit is love with substance issues. Step off your soapbox, take the soap with you.
Look, dummy, shedding money is the communist vision. Engels' bank was the crank that got the revolution spinning.
So he's basically saying, yeah, like I took money from my friend who worked at a textile mill or owned a textile mill, I should say, and that's the whole communist vision, sharing money, sharing things, not somebody just owning and taking everything. So that's a part of it. That's totally fine. And it's the crank that got the whole communist thing spinning. So that's actually a really, really dope rebuttal because he basically took what he said and was like, yeah, he did give me money. And that's the whole vision of communism. He shared wealth. That's the whole point of it, is that everything is being shared. I mean, you can argue that it's not necessarily what it is because he's only sharing it with one person, but it does make sense, and that's actually a really good rebuttal. So I like that rebuttal. That one I'm down with. I'm still not sure who I have winning. I still feel like Henry Ford's first round was the best round yet.
We made everything to see the common people advance. I'm so down with the cause, I even pawned my own pants. You grew so out of touch, you sabotaged your only kid. It's a stomach cancer, showed more love than you did. So congrats, your legacy in ashes. Remembered as the fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes. From your newspaper to your Nazi factory, cross the pond. Frankly, Hank, it's clear that's which side you are on.
Okay, so this is more to do with the Hitler stuff again, which I don't know a lot about. Because he said, hold up. There's a few things that he said. I like how he basically brought up the fact that his car and everything that he created and what legacy he left is a part of climate change and something.
Your legacy in ashes. Remembered as the fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes.
Climate change and car crashes. So all these people that die from car crashes, and which it's a good argument, I guess you could say that, but at the same time, cars have also probably saved a lot of lives, right? Like people getting brought to the hospital in time, you know, so on and so forth, and so it's tough to say. I mean, I don't know that it saved more people than have died, but it's one of those benefits of life where, you know, a lot of times the car crashes and stuff, although some are inevitable, a lot of them are really just dumb people. Just being honest, and you know, no offense to anybody out there. I've been in a car crash. Other people I know have been in car crashes, and you know, it's just sometimes people aren't paying attention. Sometimes it's dumb people. Sometimes it's drunk people, like things like that. And if we got our shit together, I feel like there'd probably be a lot less than there actually are. And then also there's times where your car just goes bad on you. Some shit happens. The climate change thing, I'm not going to get into that because people feel very strongly one way or the other on that. So I'm not even going to give my opinion, but it's still it's a dope bar to talk about how it's added to these certain situations.
Congrats, your legacy in ashes. Remembered as the fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes. From your newspaper to your Nazi factory, cross the pond. Frankly, Hank, it's clear that's which side you are on.
I like that. So apparently he had a factory over in Germany. That's my guess, because he said your factory across the pond. It's clear Auschwitz side you were on, like, you know what I'm saying, like playing with Auschwitz and which side you were on. I like that. That's actually a pretty dope bar. Nice little wordplay.
This battle's been applaud like that hemorrhage in your head. I leave a floor as expected, found on road dead.
Oh, whoa! Oh, yeah!
Damn. Okay, this is a really good battle. I feel like Karl Marx started to pull it back in the end because he had the rebuttal on the whole textile mill thing, which I thought was pretty cool. He had his best bars towards the end. He had to play with the Auschwitz and everything like that. It's tough because I like, you can't just go based on one round to win the whole thing, but I still feel like Henry Ford's first round was the best round. It felt that way to me, and I really enjoyed like the red flag bar. I thought that there was a lot of complexity to that and a lot of different things going on with that. Oh, this is a tough one. I don't want to say draw because I feel like that's a cheap way out, right? It's a cheap way out to be like, yes, it's a draw. It's a draw. It could very well be a draw though. I didn't, because I wasn't really paying attention round for round after that first one. Like, if it wasn't for that one, you know what? The hot Karl bar, I forgot about that as well. Okay, you know what? If it wasn't for that last rebuttal from Karl Marx, I don't think that I'd be even questioning it. I feel like I would have just gave it to Henry Ford, but that last rebuttal and stuff kind of brought him back up to speed a little bit. But I'm gonna have to give it to Henry Ford. I feel like the hot Karl bar, the red flag bar, I mean, and he had other stuff in there, the mass graves, even though he tried to rebuttal the mass graves bar, I don't feel like he did very well with it. So I still think that bar stands. You know, I would take away his textile mill bar because I feel like Karl Marx flipped that beautifully. So I'm, you know, it's interesting because Henry Ford didn't seem like he tried to flip anything that Karl Marx said, but Karl Marx tried to flip some of the things he said. So they obviously were aware of each other's bars, but one took the approach of flipping stuff and the other one didn't, or Henry Ford wrote his verses first and Karl Marx knew of what they were and then flipped them after the fact, and that's why you only see flips on one side. I don't know. But either way, I'd have to give it to Henry Ford, I think. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. I feel like this reaction got better as it went. In the beginning, I was stumbling over words and trying to figure out how to elaborate and say what I wanted to say, but it got better at the end. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what else you want to see. If there's more ERB that we've not gotten to yet, because there's plenty that I have not seen. I'm totally here for it. Just let me know. But I appreciate you, and I will catch you in the next one, homies.